Now, Nathan, what I want today is I want a nice, warm, calm episode of the podcast, please.
Well, I'm sorry, old Brenton, but you can only have today a warm glass of shut the hell up. I wish my Ben Stiller impression was better. I can't do a good Ben Stiller.
That's all right. That's all right. I think they got it.
Yeah.
Did you get it, guys?
The listeners got it. Yeah, we'll get angry tweets just being like, guys, please do better. Like, we're trying so hard.
Please do better.
Look, we're recording early today, Brenton. It's a Sunday morning. You know, some people would be at church, not us. We're sitting here just recording a wonderful podcast episode.
Well, look, when you think about it, this is kind of its own church. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of its own religion. It's the CMB.
Oh, could you imagine, like, you rock up to a church service and they just play Happy Gilmore? Like, oh, that would make, like, yeah, like, because you know when, like, we had to, like, watch, like, the Christian films, like, we'd watch, like, Narnia, but there'd always be, like, some Christian allegory. Like, one priest is really trying to, like, worm out some Jesus, like, underlining themes of this, like.
Yeah, I specifically remember that, and I remember watching lots of VeggieTales.
Yeah.
And there was another one we watched. Narnia was the main one because it was like they were trying to
let's put on a pop movie and try and entertain the kids. Like,
it was like keep up with the times, and play some old C.S. Lewis and watch Aslan be sacrificed on a bloody, what was it called, the stone table or something?
I don't even know.
What's it called? I can't
know.
I can't remember those books. Like I do and then I don't. Like Edmund's basically Judas.
That's right.
That.
Yeah, that little kid. Like, I remember my sister had a huge crush on him, and I'm like, no, Jess, like, he's the bad one, and she's like, no, he gets redeemed, and I'm like, I remember him like really frothing Turkish delights, and I'm like, I remember because I never had a Turkish delight ever in my life as a child, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna finally have a Turkish delight. Brenton, they're not good.
You don't like Turkish delight?
I don't like Turkish delights.
Dude, it's great. It's just basically like
it's a delight.
It's basically just like sugar mushed together to make like
they'll put that on the packet. It's sugar.
It's literally sugar. Like that's how you describe it. So when you I mean the texture's not great. Like it's a weird kind of goop that's kind of still a solid, but it's not like a jelly. It's just
because when you see him eat it, like you can see Edmund pulls that face of like, is this good? Like he kind of contemplates it for a little bit. But I love it when he eats that lolly, and like there's this weird tension between Tilda Swinton and him. It's like kind of like oddly sexual as well, because he kind of has a crush on her despite the fact she's like 30 and he's a child. like he's eating it and the dwarf's like and Tilda Swinton's like and he's like delightful. Like it's a very weird scene. I remember as a child thinking, what's going on here?
Well, when that movie gets 20 years older, like to review it, I think it because I haven't watched it in ages. Like, but like as a child, I watched it a lot of times. So
I watched it so much.
Yeah,
it's great. I didn't know until years later that James McAvoy was Mr. Tumnus.
Oh yeah, dude.
I found that so funny. It's so funny because like he does interviews these days, for like X-Men and like Glass and all that kind of stuff. But people still bring up Mr. Tumnus and like he owns it. Like
yeah, like I own it. Like he's great in that movie. But,
he's so good.
Yeah, and the funniest thing though is like his prosthetics and like costume.
Oh.
So like he's kind of like this skinny kind of runt, and then he's like kind of like how they put like the hairs on his chest and stuff, and then his ears, and just like it looks great, but it's so funny.
What happens to him in that movie? Does he get get stoned
he gets stoned. No, he gets stoned, and then he gets turned to stone.
That's right.
And then Aslan breathes on him.
That's
when they
right.
go to the witch's castle.
Do you think you would freak out, like you've been turned to stone or ice or whatever it is, and then like your waking up moment is like a lion's jaws like right in front of you, like you'd be like
like it wasn't a very real depiction of that, was it? Like because you'd probably have a little freak out moment. But what's the funniest thing is that about Mr. Tumnus in that movie is that he doesn't because then they go and become reinforcements in the battle.
That's right.
They go and
he still has like bloody umbrella just waving it about in the field, like.
But I'm pretty sure he doesn't even have that. Like he just runs in and he starts like shoulder charging people, and it's like, dude, like these people have like weapons and armor.
Because the battle scene starts out so serious. Because remember, there's that firebird that like turns into a phoenix and it like blows up the battlefield, and it's all dramatic. But then you just hard cuts to Mr. Tumnus just running on the field, just like, I'm James McAvoy, I'm helping. Like,
exactly, but he's not doing anything. In fact, he's more of a, like, maybe he's like a distraction, but like how he doesn't die by running into a battle with no armor, no weapons, no nothing, and trying to shoulder charge people. All he has is his silly little scarf.
Oh my god!
Like, maybe he strangled someone with it. I don't know. But
it just like hard cuts like all this like sword and battle, and then it just like pans the camera, and it's just James McAvoy strangling like an ogre with a scarf. Like, oh, that would be so funny. Or they like Game of Thrones it, and it's like all this like light battle, like kids' children's film. But then like Mr. Tumnus gets like violently murdered, like 5 spears in the chest. Like, oh, that would be so funny. Oh.
What's funny about that battle scene too is, like you said, they take it so seriously, but they still have to like keep it kind of PG.
Yeah.
So it's like, because like,
especially when Aslan knocks out Tilda Swinton.
Yeah. And it's like he like bites her face off.
Yeah,
basically.
he bites her off, but you don't see it, but you so know what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. And like one of the other moments is like, I think one of like the generals in like the army, like that one centaur, like he just gets turned to stone. Like, which is kind of like anticlimactic, because he's like, he runs in, it's like, oh, it's this epic moment, and then it's just like, oh, now you're stone. And it's like, I don't know, the stone thing's just kind of like, you know, it's kind of whatevs. But what's funny about that battle scene is that it's like, because that movie came out like 2 or 3 years after the last Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
They're definitely trying to make it like, you know, like that scale.
Directed
like
by Peter Jackson. It's like...
But at the same time, it's just like not like.
No, God, no. I still loved it as a child. I remember like frothing over that movie so much, but I'm like, I've seen better battle scenes than this.
Yeah, exactly. And like, you know, not that it needs to be again, but it's kind of like, it's clearly influenced by it. And yeah, I just always, I remember like watching it as a kid and really enjoying it as a kid, and like every time I watch it now, it kind of just gets worse.
It's almost like this podcast, Brenton.
Yeah, the more we do it, the worse it gets. Sorry, guys, but welcome to Classic Movie Banter. I gotta say quickly that we kind of like have like, one of us brings like a topic of discussion to begin the episode. And that was not our plan. That was not our plan at all.
But Brenton, we're like Deliverance. We just go with the flow of the river, and maybe it'll end in our limbless bodies.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I'm Nathan, and you're with,
and I'm a hungry Subway boy.
And we're on this podcast because we review movies older than 20 years, and we let you guys know if they're actually worth watching, if they hold up after time has told whether they are good. And we'll throw in some banter, we'll throw in some movie reviews, we're going to throw in some people's opinions, we got poster sections, we got title sections, we got it all, Brenton. It's an extravaganza of a podcast, if I say so myself. Peter Jackson gives it his 2 thumbs up.
We've got everything except Willem Dafoe.
I know, one day, we will never get Willem Dafoe. There's like no scenario where we're going to get Willem Dafoe. Like,
I don't know, man. I don't know.
If we ever do get Willem Dafoe, we're finishing the podcast because we've peaked.
Yeah, like, that will be the final episode, and I will cry at the end.
It'll be the final episode. It'll be like he needs to know that he's the reason we're stopping. So there's this awkward tension. Like, guys, I don't want you to like be out of a job, or it's just like no. This is it. This is where we commit.
Yeah, exactly. This is what it was building to. Now that it's done, there's no point in continuing on. And we'll become, we will become homeless bums, and that's okay because it was worth it.
It was okay just to meet Willem Dafoe. I would actually lose my shit if I met him. You know, it's gonna be weird though because he will win an Oscar very soon. At some point in the next decade, he will win an Oscar.
Do you think so, or I think Willem could be one of those guys that just gets like an honorary Oscar? You know what I mean?
I hope not. He's better than that. Like, I don't know, but I'm just thinking when he does get an Oscar, he's gonna be even harder to get for an interview. You know what I mean? Because he'll be Academy Award winner Willem Dafoe. Yeah,
I don't know. Time will tell. He will be on the podcast at some point. Like, it's going to happen.
Let's just get like clips of him from interviews and string it in as if we're asking the questions, and then he can answer them. And we'll be like, yeah, he was on the show. Like,
But Nathan,
Yes.
the reason that we had, there was Subway jokes, the reason that, we opened with a Ben Stiller impersonation is, if you haven't guessed it already, we're talking about Happy Gilmore.
We are. We're finally getting there because, we rocked up this week. Like, what should we watch? And then you've mentioned Happy Gilmore so many times on the show, and I've only seen it like clips of it in the past. I never sat down in its entirety to see it. So I'm like, it's time, Brenton. It's time.
And you did indeed watch the full thing.
I have some news to break to you, buddy.
What?
I did watch the full thing.
Ah, yes. Good. So this was your first time watching it all the way through, which is really interesting.
I hadn't seen that much of it. I'd seen like I'd seen it on at friends' houses, like when you're flicking through Foxtel and like it's on, and so you just have that on while you're chatting. It's like
So if that's the case, I'm going to rip the Band-Aid off and I'm going to throw it in the corner, and I'm going to ask you, Nathan, what did you think of Happy Gilmore?
Well, back up 5 minutes, buddy.
Oh,
Don't shoot for the 18th hole, mate. We still got to grab the bloody golf carts and drive onto the field.
I'm missing the most integral point of the show, and that is I should have asked you a question first.
Oh, actually, no. Oh, I should have let you get away with it because then I wouldn't have to pitch this movie. Damn it.
No, I want to hear you, Nathan. Can you please pitch me this film? Step into my office and go.
I'm an idiot. I should have ignored it. Oh, fine, damn it. All right. Hello, I'm Adam Sandler. Hello. I'm high auteur Adam Sandler. I'm the next. Martin Scorsese. I'm the next great filmmaker. So, it's the mid-90s. It's like we're in Captain Marvel. It's the mid-90s. Spice Girls are playing. What else? The internet's being pretty slow. NSYNC is a thing, isn't it? Alright, welcome to the 90s. So, I've made some pretty good films so far, because they've made a lot of money, which is obviously the biggest indicator if a film's good. So, Brenton, as Adam Sandler, I'm saying, let's make a film. Brenton, are you aware of the sport of golf?
I am aware. I am very aware.
Do you find the sport of golf riveting to watch?
Not to watch, but I find it exciting to play.
Actually, that's what we should have done the prologue, or we should have done it on putt-putt. That would have been a great prologue.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Anyway,
damn it.
So the sport of golf, it's pretty interesting, You're whacking balls. You might end up whacking people if you haven't got a temper. You know who hasn't got a temper? Happy Gilmore. Adam Sandler plays a adult-looking child who has extreme anger issues. He could be 12 in this movie, who knows? And he's down on his luck, Brenton. He's trying to be an ice hockey player, quite successfully. He's got the violent part of it down packed. But he discovers through serendipity that he's actually quite good at golf. And so Carl Weathers, Apollo Creed, comes straight off the Rocky films, and he's like, you know what? If I can train Rocky, I can train you, kiddo. And he's like, let's put you on a golf field and let's see if you can do this stuff. But Adam Sandler, Brenton, he doesn't play by the rules. He's your maverick. He doesn't play for 18 holes. He tries to put 18 holes into a glass window because he's a messed up kind of dude. And he needs to save his grandma's house by winning the golf tournament. He's going to go through trials and tribulations, and there'll be a lot of laughs along the way. Welcome to Happy Gilmore.
Well, that was a really interesting pitch because we kind of went all over the place.
Almost like the film.
Almost like this movie. So, Nathan, now that you've finally pitched this movie, I want to hear your thoughts because I'm really very interested to hear them. Look, so please take us away.
I want to be careful going into this because the past few weeks I've ripped into a lot of films, not intentionally, but so I want to be very careful with my words. I want to grow as a person, Brenton. I want to evolve my criticism. So I want to know what this film is to you first, because you mentioned this with a lot of love. So because are you nostalgic for this movie? Do you adore this movie?
I don't know if I adore it, but I remember having good times watching it as a kid.
Yeah,
and I think it's one of the better Adam Sandler joints.
I think you said two very insightful things just then. One, you enjoyed this as a child, and two, this is one of the better Adam Sandler movies. Those two things I 100% give a tick next to. I get on board with that. As someone who is not the biggest Adam Sandler fan, like someone, I liked some of his movies as a kid, but I wouldn't, sit down and watch Adam Sandler film these days. And someone who is not a child, at least physically, I'm not a child. Yeah, I wasn't in love with this movie. I didn't hate it. I didn't hate this movie, so I'll give it that. You can put that on the poster. But yeah, I just found it kind of by the books, Adam Sandler.
Oh yeah, definitely. But like, I think the thing that's like kind of original about this movie, and like, it's literally like probably the only original thing in this movie.
Oh yeah,
is the fact that it's about golf.
I'm trying to think of other golf films that I've seen.
It's the fact that it's about a hockey player trying to play golf. Like, that's just funny. Like,
it is pretty funny,
and
the premise is good. I'll give it that.
And the stupid way that he like drives the ball and like like that stuff's like great.
Oh my god, the fucking sound effect that plays whenever he hits a golf ball.
Terrible.
It's so
terrible.
Bad.
It's terrible.
Like this film was made for tens of millions of dollars. It could have easily been made for one. Like I've seen horror films with better production value. Like, I don't think anything in this film, because we talk about classic films. I don't think like this podcast is called Classic Movie Banter, and I feel embarrassed we have this in our roster. Like, because I'm trying to think of what makes this film a classic, and the biggest indicator of that, would probably be the lines. I think it's probably one of the most quotable movies I've watched in a while.
Do you think this is one of the most quotable movies you've watched in a while?
While, yeah. I don't think it's so bizarre. I don't think this has a great script. But I think it has great one-liners, if that makes sense.
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the characters.
Yeah. Happy Gilmore.
Let's talk about Happy Gilmore. Do you like the character of Happy Gilmore? Like, I mean,
he's kind of. You go.
I mean, like, like. I don't know. Like, I feel it's all of it. It's just Adam Sandler, so I can't really. I don't know.
It is Adam Sandler. Like, it's like textbook Adam Sandler. Like, he's kind of a dick. He's a little bit arrogant. Like, I don't like him at all, frankly. Like, I'm not rooting for him that much. Like, I'm not rooting for anyone in this movie. I feel like I'm in another bloody Breakfast Club scenario where I'm just looking around the cast. I'm like, who am I supposed to root for here?
I have to say, my favorite character in this movie is Shooter McGavin.
Oh my god! But he's like cartoonish villain for the sake of being a cartoonish villain, you know.
But that's why he's great. Like, he's just like he's just there. Like, I just like.
Why does he hate Adam Sandler so much? Because like he's like why?
I don't know. He just does.
He's just so like Saturday morning cartoon villain, because like, they're both going for the golf championship, and what's he doing this for, like a jacket? It's like, just order your own jacket, like make a knockoff. Like, does it mean that much to you? Like a man's grandmother's house is on the line, and you're doing this for a fucking jacket? It's like, the stakes are a little bit all over the shop in this film.
He wants the prestige. He wants to be on the same level as these other golfing greats.
I guess, but they're all assholes. Like, maybe, I don't know. I know nothing about the golf industry. I don't know what golf players are like. I mean, if you look at the exposés on like Tiger Woods and that kind of stuff, it doesn't paint a good picture. But I'm sure there are like wonderful athletes in the golf community.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So I don't know, like, in the same way that like Talladega Heights like said about like the racing community, and these great comedies try and say a lot about oh my god, like the bloody Will Ferrell ice skating movie, like said a lot about that one.
Oh, Blades of Glory.
Thank you. Yeah, all these sport comedies are trying to really say something insightful about, their industry. Like Zoolander tries to say a lot about the fashion industry. I'm trying to think what this says about golf, and like, it doesn't say anything that intelligent about it. Like, yes, we know golf is meant to be quiet. Yes, how funny that a loud man is in a quiet golf community, but like, I don't know. I don't know if I find it that, I don't know. I don't think the film is saying that much.
Oh no, I don't think it is at all. Like again, like I said, the most original thing is that it's about golf. But it doesn't really use that much. Like sure, like it has like moments, like for instance, kind of a momentary spoiler alert. It's not a huge thing, but like when like he hits the ball in the water and he like jumps in to like,
oh my god,
get it out. Like, it's like stuff like that. It's just like, yeah, that's just so not in the like. Let's say it's not in the golf handybook. It's not.
No. Also, in spoilers, I'm gonna have some issues with some of the golf rules they allege are rules in this film.
Oh yeah,
no,
definitely.
I'm like, as a movie that it has to portray the golfing community, I find it bizarre some of the choices they made for the story. I'm like, there's no way that would happen in real life for golf. But like, sure.
Is there any jokes in this movie that you thought were funny? Like, for instance, Ben Stiller.
Oh, yes. He's in the movie that much. He's in it for like 3 scenes, but every scene he's in... Wait, actually, back up 5 steps. What's going on with Adam Sandler? Like, first up, what is that porn moustache that he's got on? Like...
Adam Sandler, you mean?
Oh, sorry, Ben Stiller. Yeah, Ben Stiller. What's with that porn moustache? Because, like, when he gets left alone with the grandma, and you first see him, and she's like, "Can you take good care of me?" I thought we were about to get, like, a porn scene. I'm like... What's going on here?
I feel like that's a look that like Ben Stiller has in like when he like cameos in a lot of movies. Like so like he has that mustache and like this. He like has it in what's that Dodgeball, that movie? Like where he's the you know what I mean? Like it's a similar character. And then like in Anchorman,
maybe the same universe.
In Anchorman when he's like the head of that like other team, like in the big battle scene. He's always got these mustaches. He's you know?
Yeah, I do, and it's great.
Maybe it's part of his contract for the film. It's like Ben must be allowed to wear his mustache.
They just have like on the prop table. They have like 30 stupid mustaches, and then Ben Stiller rocks up at like 6 a.m. like for the start of the shoot, and he's just like looking at all of them, just trying to point at which one he wants. And he's like, that one.
And he picks the same one for like every single film. It's like,
they're like,
bloody hell, Ben.
Mr. Stiller, that's a caterpillar, not a moustache. I want it. It just crawled on the table. Like I love, like, I don't know. I find it, but like, what's going on with that storyline with Ben Stiller though? Is he like running some like weird sweatshop in like the nursing home? Like it's it's bizarre. I'm like,
but it's funny. Like,
it is funny. It's a little bit out of place. Like, but I'm like,
oh yeah, but like, mate, nothing in this movie is in place.
No, thank you so much. It really is. Like, I find this movie relies a lot on the slapstick, and like, I've never been, unless it's like the Groucho Brothers, I've never been that big of a fan of slapstick.
I mean, this movie has its moments. Like, I like the joke near the start of the film when he realizes that he can like drive the ball. Where like he's like, it's really stupid. Where he's like hitting the.
Oh my god! And he knocks a woman off a roof, like. And I'm like, I did laugh at that. Like, I did laugh a fair bit in this movie. Like, I was chuckling. So if it was meant to be a comedy, like, it did its job. Like. It is a comedy.
No, this is a drama. What are you talking about?
This is a historical biopic. Like, but like, I don't know. Actually, the thing I should have found funny that I just found confusing was Apollo Creed not having a hand.
Okay, yeah, I wanted to bring this up first of all. What happened? What was your reaction when Apollo Creed rocks up in the movie?
Oh my god! Because I think when we watched Predator, I think we talked about Happy Gilmore then saying we have to watch this movie because it has Carl Weathers. But I completely forgot about it until he rocked up, and I'm like, and first off, he's wearing like some really like rich polo. I'm like, what are you wearing, Creed? I'm like, what are you doing in the golfing community? I'm like, get out of it, like, shoot some aliens. Fight in a boxing ring. What are you doing here? And then he like has his hand decimated like 10 times in the movie, and I'm like, what? Like, why is he in this film? Why is he here?
Oh man, like it's great. Like, I love him in this movie. Like, I think he's
he kind of repeats the same role as Rocky 3 though, like that trainer kind of like.
Yeah, exactly. But like, it's funny, and the whole hand thing's just so stupid that it's like
so moronic.
It's
like,
so dumb. Like the first time when it's like he like knocks the hand out and he's like, holy shit, and then it's like, oh, don't worry, like it's made of wood, so it's like indestructible, and then the truck runs over it, and you're just like, what? Like, but it's also like, it's so obvious that it's like a fake hand, that it's like. That's just kind of
you can probably see like the lump of his hand that's in the sleeve of his jumper. You know what I mean? Like he's always wearing like long sleeve shirts. Like,
but I think that's what makes it funnier. Like that's what makes that funnier.
And also, like, it adds nothing to the story. Like, he doesn't need to have lost a hand. Like, he doesn't share some.
Exactly, it's there literally for the gag, and so he can like tap Adam Sandler with it, like when he's like talking to him.
And then there's a gag with the hand at the very end of the movie, which we'll talk about in spoilers.
Exactly. Yeah.
I found disturbing the caddy that had the blonde hair. I think that's one of the worst wigs I've seen in cinema. Or maybe it is his hair, but I just found that hair so disturbing.
I think like that's one of the best like kind of like featured extra roles like ever. Like, it's so like it's just like
he was uncomfortable to look at because he's got such like bleached blonde hair, but then he's got like the darkest eyebrows and eyes, and I'm like, what am I looking at here? Like, I admire him. Like, I like that. Do you reckon Adam Sandler is good at golf, Brenton? Because I couldn't tell what was him and what was like you know.
Well, look, I'll put it this way: he decided to make this movie, right? Like this is his movie, and I think that secretly you might find that Adam Sandler could be a professional level golfer. Like,
yeah. See, that's what I think. But then again, like making this movie, now every time that he plays golf as Adam Sandler, he's just going to get bombarded with people on the golf course just being like, oh, are you going to start whacking the golf club, Adam Sandler? Hey, it's Happy Gilmore. It's like, oh, I hate the irony of his name as well. It's like, call the most angry character Happy. It's like, well, that was good script writing, wasn't it? But you know what I mean? Like, he's going to be badgered about this for the rest of his life. Like, every time he does golf. He'll just be a putt-putt with his family. And they're like, oh, you're going to break the fucking exhibit? And he's like, maybe.
Or like, yeah.
Do you think he's too violent in this?
Oh, he's very violent in this.
He's so angry. And it's never explained why he's so angry. Like, does he have, like, anger issues? Like,
it's like he has anger issues. But, like, yeah, traditionally I don't think, like, anger issues are, like, linked to, like you don't really go, oh yeah, someone's got like extreme anger issues, and then they go, oh yeah, and they're like capable of becoming King Kong and like destroying.
I really wish in the film it just escalated and escalated. Like, we just had a scene that went for like 20 minutes, and it just like, and by the end of it, it's like mobs with pitchforks, all like Game of Thronesing it on the golf field, just like all of them just like whacking each other with clubs. I wish we had an ultra violent scene in this movie.
Yeah, it's like instead of like the last scene being about the golf, like the last kind of confrontation between the two of them. Like maybe they just whip out their putters and they have like a sword fight. Like,
it's like, we must settle this not with our golfing abilities, but with our abilities with a lightsaber. And they just like
exactly.
What is it that bloody what's his name? Count Dooku says in that film, like, Master Yoda. Let's say like our abilities of the Force are equal. We must use a lightsaber.
It's like something like clearly this contest will not be decided by our use of the Force, but by our skills with a lightsaber. And then like Count Dooku just gets trolled. Like he just gets screwed. Like
Christopher Lee's just like jumping about even though he's like 90 years old.
Oh, dude, I actually know. Okay, funny story. I, for those of you who don't know, I went to acting school and I work professionally as an actor. Plugging myself. But so when I went to acting school, actually my combat teacher was Christopher Lee's stunt double in Star Wars. Star Wars
shut up.
2 and 3.
No.
Dead serious. Yeah, so he was.
No, you were so double. Like, really?
No, I'm not lying. So he was his stunt double, and he did a few other things like in the films. Like he was plenty of other things. So he was like, you know, in the third one, he was like the magma guards that are like the General Grievous kind of.
Oh my god, yeah.
Guards. Like he was one of those as well, and was the motion capture for those. But he's big stunt. Like he was Christopher Lee's stunt double.
That's so funny. Did you ever meet Christopher Lee?
Yeah.
Totally. Oh, fantastic. Because I heard a rumor, it's probably not true, that like he couldn't, because he was so old or something like that, like he had to do his green screen stuff in like the States rather than come down to Australia for it?
No, that was in that
was Hobbit.
That was in The Hobbit. Yeah, he
couldn't.
Yeah, because he has a huge fight scene in that fucking Hobbit movie.
That's right, yeah. And also he passed away like immediately after those Hobbit films. Like he did like Battle of Five Armies, and then he's like, I'm out.
Yeah, and he was like, old too. Yeah, like he was ancient. But
good on him for like doing like that kind of work that late in his life. Like,
dude, my favorite story of Christopher Lee that I just think sums that man up is like in the Return of the King extended edition, where he actually has his death scene, and he gets stabbed in the back by Wormtongue.
That's right, yeah.
And he falls off the tower and fucking impales himself.
Spikes it in the chest.
Like that's a crazy death scene. I don't know why it was cut from the film. Like it should have been in the theatrical release. But that's another discussion for another episode. But what's crazy about that scene was that like Peter Jackson was like to him, dude, like I'm just like not buying like when you're getting like stabbed in the back. Like I want this reaction. And then like Christopher Lee just turns to him and goes, well, actually, Peter, when you do stab someone in the back, they don't do that. They actually have to gasp because it's such a shock to the like to their system, and like they're like in like a state of shock, and the body's like going into shock as well. It's just like you're gasping for air, and he's like,
how does he know that?
Because he was a World War II spy behind enemy lines, like that he was like, yeah, I know this, like I know this for a fact. I have seen this, like Peter, like when you actually did
my god,
and so
that's amazing.
That's just
like he would have been in the Second World War, wouldn't he? Like,
yeah, exactly. Like
that's insane,
dude. Everyone, look up the life of Christopher Lee and just look up the life that man led. That
is bonkers.
It's insane. And so like Peter was just like, yep. Okay, you know.
Do you reckon like when him and Gandalf were like rolling about in like that fight scene in Two Towers, like Christopher Lee was like, no, this is how you do it. This is how you roll about. Because I also did this in the Second World War.
I don't think so. I just think it was that specific thing. It's like, I don't know. Some people are like, yeah, I don't think you know what you're talking about when you actually kill someone. It's like
that's amazing. That is extraordinary. Oh, now every time I see Christopher Lee kill someone in a movie, I'll be like, speaking from experience.
Yeah, very, very interesting. But now that we've spoken about Christopher Lee, The Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, let's rate this movie, I think. Let's get back to Happy Gilmore, yeah.
I know. Like, I feel like as a child, I would love this film.
Yeah.
Like, 100%, I get around this like nothing else. Like, because I remember as a kid loving Click and loving, like, all the shit that he made, and I got around that like nothing else, and I also don't want to dismiss Adam Sandler as a filmmaker, because like there is a huge market for Adam Sandler films.
Exactly.
Like, I remember watching an interview with Ted Sarandos, who's the guy who runs Netflix, and the journalist was asking him about the Ridiculous Six, you know, that terrible film he made for it? Yeah. And they were saying, why the fuck did this garbage make it to Netflix? And Ted was saying, well, Adam Sandler, like he said, that's one of our highest viewed movies on the platform, and they're like, really? And they said, Adam Sandler, he has a huge following, like people would love his stuff regardless of what you think of it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, look, that being said, like, and watching it again, like, I still find this movie funny. Like, there's jokes in this movie that I still find funny. I agree that, like, it's nonsensical, it's kind of stupid, some of it's kind of lame. I don't know, and I don't even know if this is nostalgia talking, but I will give it a thumbs up in the sense of, like, but it's not like a clear thumbs up, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, it's in the ether. So I'll give it a thumbs up, because I still think there's fun to be had with this movie. Like in the premise of a Thursday night with mates, you have a few drinks and you watch Happy Gilmore. Like, you're gonna have a good time. Like,
yeah, I don't even know if drunk I would adore this movie. Like, I don't know. I'm trying to think. Yeah, Thursday night criteria. Like, you're with some friends, you want to put in a movie. I know. I just think there are better sports comedies. I think Blades of Glory is better. I think like Tropic Thunder is better. I think like Zoolander is better.
That sports comedy, Tropic Thunder.
Yeah, you know, because they're running so much in that film. It's about gun marksmanship, Brenton.
That's funny.
Like, I don't know. Like, is this real? I don't like. We review classic films. I just can't, in my good conscience, put it like next to the other films we've said yes to. You know what I mean?
I hear what you're saying, and I kind of think it's right if you say no to this, because then there's we're kind of in the middle. You know what I mean?
You know, like to go from you know, The Matrix to Mad Max to Happy Gilmore. It's like, you know what I mean? Like,
oh no, I totally hear you, but I'm giving it the thumbs up in the context of what I said, because I think like clearly, like, what's unfortunate about like any sort of rating system is that you can never actually like sum something up and like give your whole thoughts about it in terms of like just that thumbs up or the thumbs down or like your score out of 10.
But we can say, Brenton, like, watch this or not. We can say those words, which is pretty much
exactly is what we do say. So I say it's worth a watch, but at the same time, it holds no. It's like in the history of cinema, we're not going to be talking about Happy Gilmore.
It will fade with time.
In 50 years' time, like. Some people
like this podcast, it will fade with time.
But I still think it's worth a watch, whilst understanding that it is no Raging Bull. It's no.
No, God, no. It's a far cry. Yeah, that's a better sports film right there. Like,
exactly, yeah. I'll give it the thumbs up for a fun watch if you want to switch off, literally switch off, and like.
Oh my God, yeah.
Watch something.
Maybe okay. I could see like if you're like cooking in the kitchen and you want something on the background, maybe like you can have that on then.
Sure.
Or like, sure. I don't know, if you're if you're like, I don't know, you have to like fill in some like paperwork and you want to have that on in the background, you're doing your taxes and you want to have a movie as you're doing your taxes, like put that in the background. I don't know, my thumb's down. I have to put it down, dude. Like,
Sure,
I
think there's a lot of laughs in this movie. And again, like, I think it's one of his better ones in terms of comedy. Like, in terms of comedy that's you're going to laugh at. Like, it's not a Jack and Jill.
The best Adam Sandler film I've seen him be in is probably The Merowitz Stories, which is a film on Netflix at the moment. Which is extremely good. Would recommend him in that.
What's the film? And I still haven't seen it, unfortunately, which is such a shame because it's Paul Thomas Anderson. But what's the Paul Thomas Anderson film that he's in?
Oh, cracky, I wouldn't know, dude.
That's like, and it's like, apparently he gives like an incredible performance in that. Like,
oh wow,
yeah, dramatic performance. In that movie,
dramatic performance. Wow,
yeah.
There you go.
So I kind of want to check that out as well, and again, it's Paul Thomas Anderson, so it's like,
yeah, we know you two are lovers. Like it's just stop it.
You know me. It's like Paul Thomas Anderson, Denis Villeneuve. Who else is working today? I love Scorsese's my fave. If anything comes up from those guys, I'm just like, whoa. Yeah.
I know. Like when a few weeks ago when the Hollywood trailer came out for Tarantino's
yes,
film, you and I were both like just like messaging each other, going like, "Oh my god!"
Well, I literally, like, fun fact for our listeners, it's like I've literally been following that movie like through its whole production, just like so excited for it. And like to finally see the footage, I was just like,
"Oh my god, it's happening!" Like,
and it was good too. It was good.
It was good. Oh, we'll talk about it when the film comes out. We'll do a prologue just on that. That's how we'll get around our 20-year rule.
Yeah, sure. Do you know what we should be talking about though?
What, Brenton?
Spoilers. Let's spoil this movie.
Okay.
Happy Gilmore.
Spoilers.
So like, look, I don't even know if this section's going to be huge. Like,
you say that every episode.
No, but I just
but we managed to do it.
I just think, like, you know, like, because we're just going to be going over jokes. Like, that's all we're going to be going over. And maybe some other little things. So, yeah. I don't know. I
have some logic issues with this, Brenton. I actually have a lot of logic issues with this movie, okay? First up, how does his grandma owe the IRS $270,000? Like, what was she doing? How did she...
I love how
her tax fraud is, like, so, like, breezed over? Like, what?
Oh, I love how they breeze over it, though. It's so fucking funny.
Like, and how did she get into that in the first place?
And then she just does the whole, like, old lady confused thing, which is, like... Which is even funnier, because it's, like, deep down, like, I think she's a total, like, fucking criminal.
Is she like running some drug ring or something like that? Like what? Like, I love it though. Like, bless her for that. Like, it's just, yeah. But why is she not visiting his games? Because like the whole movie, I'm surprised she's not there because she's trapped in this bloody house. You think she'd actually rock up to the golf?
Yeah, exactly. But but maybe Ben Stiller's just like, it's like a bloody camp. It's like you can't get out.
God, that shit's so weird. I love it though.
Yeah.
There's some great gags in this movie. I love it when at the start of the film he is on the intercom to his ex-girlfriend, and then for some reason there's like a whole crowd of people outside his apartment.
Yeah, exactly. And then like when he opens the door, like the end of the joke is just so stupid. Like, and that woman's
like that
there.
old lady stayed the night. It's like, dude, like, also, why are there so many people, like, walking on the street at night? Because she would have left at, like, maybe 8 o'clock or something like that, and there's, like, a girl walking her dog, and there's some, like, other guy. It's like, why are there all these people outside his apartment?
Because then you wouldn't get that great joke, Nathan.
This is so stupid. Oh my god, it's so stupid. Actually, can we talk about something very, very funny that I have this is a multimodal joke, Brenton. Sure. Okay, so in our podcast notes, can you please scroll down and look at a picture that I've put in our document? Because I want to talk about this for 2 seconds.
Yes.
So for listeners at home, I'm going to describe what Brent and I are looking at because I screenshotted this from the movie. So it's a photo. It's a photo of Carl Weathers. It's one of the earlier scenes in the movie. It's when he's like chatting to Adam Sandler about you got to be the best golfer. And the reason this image stood out in my eye, besides the wonderful Lacoste sweater that he's wearing, oh bless Carl Weathers. What the fuck is he eating, Brenton? What? Like it's this blue plate. It's this blue plate, and it's just like. It's just got this weird assortment of fruit, but it's like...
It's like
I'm so perplexed by this.
It's like on a plastic plate with a plastic fork as well.
And there's so much, like,
So
the
much-
fruit's
It's
overflowing.
like overflowing from the plate. Like, that's insane. Holy
Like, there's
shit.
so much fruit. Like, when I saw that, I'm like, because you know when you go to these events and they have, like, you know, the little nibbles, and maybe you grab like a slice of watermelon or rockmelon, maybe you grab like a scone. He's like just gone to the buffet and he's just stocked up. Like, there's so much fruit on that plate.
It's so funny, and it's such a funny screenshot as well. It's such a
It's
funny
so
screenshot.
stupid. Okay, what's funnier, this photo or the photo of Don Cheadle from Boogie Nights?
Oh, Don Cheadle takes the cake. Like, that's
Don Cheadle's still good.
That's the funniest thing ever. But this is pretty ridiculous, because as soon as I saw the photo and I saw that plate of fruit, I just like started laughing. Like, I knew exactly why you'd taken that photo.
It's
so funny.
stupid. Oh, I love it. I love it so much. There's a lot of stupidity in this film. One thing that I was like, the fuck, was when he drops the aircon on that woman.
Oh yeah, and he's like, yeah, it should have been like manslaughter, like straight away. Like,
Have you seen the TV show Fargo?
yes.
Have you seen the
3?
second season?
Or season
Have you
3,
seen season
isn't it?
2? No, it's
season-
the start of season 2 when they're in the apartment, that first episode,
Yeah.
and they drop.
No, it is too. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, because it's Kristen Dunst, iconic Spider-Man actor Kristen Dunst, and she's like in that apartment, and she. If you haven't seen Fargo, watch it. It's one of the best TV shows ever made. It's so good. Watch Fargo, please. If you're gonna watch anything, watch Fargo, the TV show. Anyway, the pilot episode of season 2, like, yeah, she like knocks the air conditioner off like this apartment, and it falls down. There's a guy on the street, and it like Game of Thrones murders him. Like, his head gets crushed, and you see blood just splurt everywhere. That should have happened in this movie, Brenton.
It should have, but it didn't.
But
Unfortunately,
it didn't.
It was.
Yeah, she's just like lying on the ground, like, ooh, whoops! Like, I got an aircon on me. I'm like, lady, you should be dead. Like,
lady, you shouldn't exist anymore. But yeah, but like, it's funny, like, her reaction to it too. How she's just like, she's literally making that noise you just made, like, "Ooh," like, and it's like, wow. Can we talk about?
shit.
Can we talk about? One of the most, like, the classic joke in this film, which is Happy can't putt, and so like Carl Weathers gives him the advice of just tap the ball into its home,
Oh my god.
like. And like,
It's so stupid.
it's so stupid, but it's kind of funny at the same
It's
time.
like when you're 12. It's like the joke you would make when you're 12. You know what I mean?
Just
It's like,
tap it in, Happy. Just tap it in. Tappy, tappy, tappy. Like,
was that Jack Nicholson just then, like, as the coach? Like,
no, that's Adam Sandler, as he's like impersonating Carl Weathers, like being like, just
Oh my
tap it in.
God.
And he like when he gets on the ground and is like, just go to your home, ball. Like, it's right
it's so
there.
stupid. It's great though. Like, you just see him. He's such a bumbling idiot. It's like Mr. Magoo. It's like watching the Pink Panther like play golf. You're just like,
But he's
bless
like
him.
aggro. He's like super aggro at the same time and
He's
violent.
so angry this whole film. He's just shouting left, right, and center. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, speaking of angry Adam Sandler, was he about to glass, like, Shooter?
Yeah, dude. Like when he like,
I'm like, you're gonna murder him?
like in cold blood, like just in the like it escalates very quickly, that scene, and then like no one takes
was
that
like,
situation
what?
very seriously at the same time. It's like there's this guy that's clearly on edge, that's just smashed like a bottle and is ready to go, and you're just
Like,
laughing at him like
back the fuck off. Like, this is insane. Like,
totally.
like there's so many moments of murder. Like, how the hell did that guy run Adam Sandler over with a car? Like, just the fact to get a car into the golf course and then to almost kill him. Like, was he gonna kill him?
I think so. I think that's the idea, or like,
Like, what? Like,
I know.
And then he just crashes the car and it bursts into flames. And I'm like, and he just makes it out alive and he just walks away. Like, there's like 2 security guards like taking him away. Like, you should go to prison for that. That's manslaughter.
yeah. Well, it's attempted murder actually. But
Or attempted murder, yeah. Oh, but imagine if he killed Adam Sandler, like, yeah. Actually, Adam Sandler should have died at several points in the movie. Most prominently when he fights a fucking crocodile.
exactly. Yeah. Or alligator. Is it an alligator?
Oh,
It's an
alligator.
alligator. Like it's not a crocodile because it's in like anyway.
Regardless of what reptilian, aquamphibian thing it is, like, how, like, he just beats up this thing, and I'm like, what? And it ends up being the same crocodile that, like, bit off Carl Weathers, and you're just like, really? Like,
Yeah,
I
because
don't
it
know.
has the
Why-
one
also, how is
eye
it-
or something. Like, is that it?
Yeah,
he
that's
has
right.
it. Yeah.
But why is there a crocodile on the golf course in the first place? Why have ground staff not removed it because there's golf course stuff going on?
Well, I mean, why not? It's like putt-putt, you know, you have your little obstacles.
Like, that's insane. Could you imagine just like you're playing putt-putt one day and you lose your ball, you walk over to the pond and a fucking alligator just leaps out of the water.
What's stupid is though as well is that like the ball lands like on its tongue, like, and it's just like,
oh my god,
like we all love Carl Weathers, but that character was a bit fucking stupid to try and like pick up the golf ball, like, and like
what an idiot.
Yeah.
Just get another golf ball. What are you doing?
Exactly.
And like the crocodile would have probably choked on it and died. Like just let it run its course.
Speaking of which, let's talk about Apollo Creed's death scene.
Oh my god. That is the dumbest death and stupidest and the most unnecessary death scene I've ever seen in cinema.
I think it's so random, like, and so
it's so out of place.
But also like how like Adam Sandler like gifts him the decapitated head of the croc, like, and
because it hard cuts with him falling out the window straight to his like funeral.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, we have no moment to breathe.
Exactly,
like,
it just goes straight to the funeral, and then like Adam Sandler has that joke of like the hand is like on top of the coffin or whatever, and he like picks it up and like shakes it one last time. It's like so stupid.
It's so stupid. Like, I mean, this whole film's so stupid, but like that in particular, like, I think they didn't need to kill him off. Like, there was no like for a gag, and it wasn't that good of a gag in the first place. I was just like, I don't know, you don't need it, do you?
Can we talk about Bob Barker?
Oh my god, because I actually have seen The Price is Right a little bit growing up because we'd get it randomly on like a Sunday day or something like that. Oh, I didn't know he was going to be in this movie. Why is he in this movie?
Why not? It's so random and so
It's probably the best scene though, isn't it?
Yeah, like I love that like he's like obviously he's like playing like this fictional version, but like how he just starts.
Are you sure it's a fictional version?
It's like he has, but it's like he has like the same anger issues as Happy is what makes it funny. Like it's like because he just starts getting ticked off, and that like he's not like it's a charity bloody game, and he's like getting like really
so
shitty over it. Like it's so
funny.
Because
it just escalates so quickly.
Yeah, exactly.
And when he ends up beating up Adam Sandler, it's the fun because you don't see it coming. It's so funny. Like,
yeah, it's so great.
I laugh the most in that.
But
and like because the punch sound effects is so like it's such like a fake punch as well. Like it's so badly choreographed.
No, my favorite is when like he's like you think for a moment that like Adam Sandler's just like committed manslaughter or whatever, or like in self-defense. And then like and then next minute he just like comes to life again with that stupid face he pulls. Like that's like when he's like, and then he like continues. Like it's so funny. You should have taken a photo of that and put it in the show notes because it's just like the funniest face like ever. Like
we should introduce a new segment now and then of just like of picture of the day.
Yeah, like
just like
which still steals the show. Yeah.
When we watch, I like it. Which stills the show, we'll call the segment.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's really good. Actually, that's fun. Yeah.
we'll put more screenshots in future episodes. I had some issue with the crowd. First off, why the fuck do they have all those Adam Sandler masks? Did you notice this? It's so what? Because it's never acknowledged. But they're like holding up his face. I'm like, is this what the golfing community does? Like, are there Tiger Woods masks out there?
Look, I don't know. Like, it's so like stupid that it's like it's past the point of comprehension. It's just like, yeah, sure.
But also, like, how does no one stop that guy shouting at Adam Sandler? Like, don't you think that would be like rule breaking? Like, you think they'd be like, no, you have to be quiet. Like,
well, they'd remove him from the crowd. Like
everyone can hear him shouting at Adam Sandler. Everyone can obviously see Adam Sandler's getting ticked off by this guy. Why isn't like officials or judges or anyone like stepping and saying, "Hey, you're affecting the game. Please
then we wouldn't then have that awesome punch out between." But it's also like for me, it's like because that's like a charity event, right? So it doesn't mean anything, and yet Shooter McGavin is still like trying to like undermine him at this charity event. It's like it's so dumb. Like that's
so stupid. And like all the rules just aren't being played. Like the fact that tower fell over and they're like, no, you got to play with, you got to where the ball lands. I'm like, there's no way in a real life golf tournament a tower would fall and you'd have to continue with the game. Like that would never happen.
Exactly, but then we wouldn't get that amazing, incomprehensible moment of when he chips the ball with his putter.
Adam Sandler, he's like that meme of like that meme where like the brain gets more and more expanded. Where it's like yeah. That was like Adam Sandler just then with like all the sums going on in his head with that blue kind of like font. Like that was exactly him. You know what? Speaking of that though, I did love that putt-putt place.
Oh,
I'm like, how fun does that look? That was like the best putt-putt place ever.
And like, but at the same time, the course where like he, or the hole, I should say, that he, the one that's like the Hollywood kind, the one where he does like the crazy part that like chips it off the thing and then it goes into the thing. How are you actually meant to do that? Like,
yeah, that's just like you can't. You basically can't. Yeah, like,
dude, but like literally, like I wonder like what Adam Sandler like. Happy Gilmore would like have to pay that place, given that he like destroyed like that clown's like head, like
yeah, he does property damage, and like they just walk away. Well, then again, he earns a lot of money. Maybe he just like slipped him like $1,000 or something like that afterwards.
But he's trying to like, honestly, the guy needs to get his shit together because he's trying to you know, save his grandma's house, and he needs every cent he can get, and yet here he is like destroying property on a bloody putt-putt course. Which is like all animatronics and stuff, which is going to cost a lot of money to replace.
I know. It's like, what a dick move. And like, that's the thing I don't like about this film. His anger issues are never addressed. Like, he mentions at one point that his father died when like he was young or something like that.
Yeah.
But apart from that, you never know where this comes from. And like, I feel like that could have been interesting, like actually explore his anger, but never go for it.
Last thing I kind of want to bring up actually is, how's that character, the guy that like he shot in the head with a nail gun, like in the past?
Oh my God.
What the fuck?
Oh my God. That's... Do you no, because you haven't seen any of the old Bond films. Do you know there's a Bond villain called Jaws?
No.
There's a Bond film. Maybe we'll get around to it. I forget which one he's from. But there's one where like he has like you'll get to it. But like there's a very iconic Bond villain, and that's the same actor. And so like I know he's so out of place. I love the little nail in his head, but I'm like, I don't know. There's so many things I don't know why they're in the movie besides the fact they're a gag, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and like how he like chases Shooter McGavin at the end, and like the slow sound effects as he's like what does he? What does he do to him? Like
I don't know, because those sound effects are not human. Like, like I know what he does to Shooter McAdams. Maybe it's like a weird sex scene that it ends up happening, but you know. That's just the sound that Shooter makes, you know, when he's chased by Jaws from the Bond films. Last thing from me before I say I'm done. Was this movie sponsored by Subway?
Yeah, like surely it was, and that was a joke.
It must have been.
Like surely it was. Like it totally was.
Because even before he actually gets sponsored by Subway, I still thought Subway was in the movie a little bit too much.
But like I love it. Like I love it when like a film like just like takes the piss of that it's been like there's a product placement
like
in it.
Sports endorsements are something to make fun of.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like it's perfect. But then like every scene they're just like eating Subway, and it's so funny. Like
I know it is. I know I did like. It reminded me a lot of Brad Pitt in Ocean's 11, how he's consistently eating food.
Yeah,
I'm like, this is a fun time. I enjoy this.
Well, interesting thing about Brad Pitt, and like basically in so many of his films, it's not just Ocean's 11. Brad Pitt is always eating fucking food. He's always got a piece of... No, dude, check it out. Like, he's always got something in his hands that he's munching on or drinking or doing something. Look at that trailer for bloody Hollywood. He's sitting there with a little carton of milk, like, doing the scene.
He is too.
And you watch Fight Club, he's always eating. Like, he's always eating in it.
Oh my God, Thelma and Louise?
Yep, Thelma and Louise. Inglourious Bastards, when the bear Jew comes out and he's sitting there eating like a baguette, like just munching on it during that whole scene. Like, he's always eating food in movies. It's insane. Oh Check it out, guys. It's like, I think it's like an acting technique or something. It's like...
That's how he gets into character. He's like, I need to be eating food. I need to
genuinely, it's crazy. Like, he's always eating fucking food. I don't know.
That's Brad Pitt. Why? those are the questions we ask.
Brad Pitt. Why not? I say, like, hell yeah.
So Brenton, how did they make this movie?
How did they make the movies? Yeah.
What a duet.
You said it, man. That's quite funny, but that's quite a funny joke.
So Bob Barker, he did his own stunts in this film, which I found quite hilarious. So like, he did all that. That was all him. Like, you know, when he signed up to do the film, they said, "Hey, do you want to?" Like, I think anyone could have rocked up, and they said, "No, it'd be funniest if we get Bob Barker."
Yeah.
And so they're like, "Hey, are you cool swearing? Are you cool doing this kind of stuff?" And he's like, "Yes." And then and he said he said he didn't want to do the movie. The only reason he wanted to do it is if he had won the fight. And they're like, sure, why not? And then they're like, do you want to get a stunt double for it? And he's like, no, I want to win the fight. I know how to fight. And they're like, okay, go for it, Bob Barker. And he just kicks Adam Sandler's ass. I love it.
That I know. I love that was the thing that like got him over the edge. He was like, yeah, sure, I'll take the movie if I win the fight. Like, it's so funny.
It's so funny.
I also found this piece of little tidbit of information which kind of answers the question that we were asking before, and that is that in real life, Adam Sandler is terrible at both golf and hockey.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Absolutely.
So when the people say, "Can we play some golf?" He must be like, "No, I'm actually not like Happy Gilmore."
Yeah, exactly. Like, he's just like, guys, like, it's a movie, please. Like, I can't do this. Yeah.
So when it comes to shooter casting, the thing that I found quite funny is that originally the producers wanted Kevin Costner to play shooter.
Yes, yeah, I'm actually reading that on the notes right now, and that is kind of hilarious. Like, just imagining a movie.
Oh my god, could you
Costner
imagine that? Just like, as soon as Adam Sandler hits the ball, he's like, oh, fuck me, he cleared it.
My favorite line in that film. Oh my god.
Oh, it's so good. But even like Kevin Costner, like, he does like his whole like Robin Hood speech before the golf tournament. Like, oh, that would have been so funny. Oh, I would have loved it. Oh, I would have loved it so much. Or he just does his like dances with wolves, like running with the dogs every time he gets a hole-in-one. Like, oh, it would have been so good.
The NHL shop has sold hockey stick putters for many years.
What shop?
The NHL.
Oh,
yeah,
that's right. Yeah. The one he goes to.
Yeah. So, I just think that's hilarious.
You think it's like actually a real place if you actually genuinely want to get? Do you reckon they're like, oh, can you support the local community and have us like showing us buying stuff? And they're like, sure, okay, yeah, use our shop.
Speaking of Shooter McGavin as well, I thought this was really cool that Bruce Campbell auditioned for the role of Shooter McGavin as well.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah. Could you imagine that?
Oh, do you know the only piece of work I know Bruce Campbell from?
What, Spider-Man?
It's Spider-Man. I know apparently he's great in Evil Dead, but like I've only ever seen him cameo in the 3 Spider-Man films that you and I talk about obsessively. And he's great in all 3. What's your favorite Bruce Campbell cameo in the 3 films? What's his best one?
Oh, Spider-Man 2. For sure.
No, it's so Spider-Man 3.
Spider-Man 3. Oh, no, it's Spider-Man 2.
Because he plays the snooty waiter. He has something to do.
It's Spider-Man 2 when he's like, oh, Ty? Shoot, like,
his face when he's like, shh.
Can I help you? Can I help you? And it's just like, oh yeah, I'm here to see the show. But not to come late. Like, it's so good.
I love it. He's so good in those movies.
For me, it's Spider-Man 2. But like all of them, you could make a case for all of them because Spider-Man 1's great as well. Like how he's
oh my god, at the boxing tournament. Like, oh, I love it. I love it so much. That's what the new Spider-Man films are missing. Just a Bruce Campbell cameo. Oh, I miss him so much. Like, oh. It may be too soon, but could they have Bruce Campbell be the new cameo guy for the MCU, Brenton?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if you can do that, like, in good conscience, but given that, like,
no.
Because the Stan Lee thing's just so iconic that it's like...
It is so iconic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Miss him to death. But you know what? Another fun fact I have is that the actual site where they had the Bob Barker ball on the golf course, that's actually a very famous place now. Like, you can go visit it at the British Columbia's Furry Creek Golf and Country Club. It was on the 9th hole, and it's actually, that hole has now been renamed as Happy's Hole.
That's so funny, really.
I know.
That's
so
so
now
cool.
like, people go there to play golf to then have like a pretend fight on the golf course, which I find fantastic.
That's crazy. That's awesome.
I know, that is bonkers, isn't it?
And that's kind of all the information I kind of have. Like, I've got some other things.
Well then, hey, let's look at this film's poster.
Hey, look at it right now. Alrighty. So I'm looking at this poster right now, and I think it's pretty good. I think they nail it.
It's a very early 2000s poster. It's like Adam Sandler, like you're inside a golf hole looking out to Adam Sandler standing there with a golf putt in his hand, like looking pretty serious. And it says, Adam Sandler, Happy Gilmore. He doesn't play golf. He destroys it.
Yeah, this is pretty perfect. The only thing I would change, personally, is that I would change from him having a driver as the golf club
to a machete.
No.
That'd be amazing. You think it's gonna be like a horror film on a golf course? But
to his hockey putter.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, that would work great
because you still get the golf thing because you have the golf ball and you're inside the golf hall. whole, sorry, and then you'd have the hockey kind of aspect to it. But I think this poster's pretty perfect.
Pretty great.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan.
Like, who knew that a movie like this nails its poster, whereas like so many other great
I
films
know.
we look at just have
So many iconic ones.
just have just shit posters. Yeah, but
I know. I good on you, Happy Gilmore, having a great poster, but like I know it's well, yeah, and same thing goes for the title talk as well. Like,
Yeah.
what else would you have called this film? Like, Happy Gilmore works perfect.
exactly. I mean, you
You can never go wrong with naming your film after the protagonist. Like, I feel like it's a surefire way of always.
unless you
getting
have a
good title.
shitty protagonist, like like that.
Yeah.
But again, like, yeah, I totally agree with you. Yeah,
Oh, it's like what we do, like Mad Max, named after Mad Max. It's like,
Yeah.
like it's this string of like films named after their main characters.
Thelma and Louise, like it just works.
Thelma and Louise,
Bonnie and Clyde, it works.
Bonnie and Clyde. Yeah, Rocky. With so many of them, Brenton.
Yeah.
yeah. It should have, it should have been Land Before Time. Should have been called Pleakley. That's what it should have been called.
No,
Garbage piece of shit film.
no. Bambi. Yeah.
Oh, Bambi. Yeah, Fox and that. We can go. We'll scroll through the podcast app and just read out our episodes. Like, yeah.
Could you imagine
But it's
if
a surefire way.
could you imagine if the Matrix was called Neo?
Oh my god, that would suck. That would suck. Yeah, there are some points where, like, if your main character isn't the most interesting thing of the movie, like if the actual concept is, then obviously, yeah. Okay, here's how you make a good title. Just name it after the most interesting thing in your film.
Okay, so what you're saying is that Breakfast at Tiffany's should have been called
Orangey the cat.
yes, or Mickey Rooney, just Mickey
Oh
Rooney
my
the
God.
movie. Like,
Was it Mr. Yuki or whatever his name
no,
is?
you
Like,
don't even give it the honor of calling it the character by its name. You just call it Mickey Rooney, and
Oh my God, that'd be so
that's
funny.
that. Yeah, like Mickey Rooney. Just like the fact that still happened just boggles my mind. Like it still boggles my mind, and that like there's been no like director's cut that's rectified it because it's so easy to cut it out of the movie. Yeah. Anyway,
go back to our Tiffany's episode if you want to hear that.
So now that we're nearing the end of this episode, I think it's time to pass the power to the people. Let's pass it to the people. The power.
Pass it to the people. Happy Gilmore on Rotten Tomatoes, the be-all and end-all of yay or nay. It's got 61% on the tomato meter.
Sure.
Yeah,
But
the
what did
audience
say?
score. The audience, Brenton, gave this masterpiece 85%. And you know what?
Exactly.
990,000 people went to Rotten Tomatoes to give it 85%. So that's a lot. Like I said, he's got a huge following.
That's it, man. That's it. I'm telling you, man. Like,
I know.
that-
I agree
that
probably
sums
more
it
with the
up.
critics on that. Because actually, can we hear from the critics? Give me some critics because I want to hear what they say.
Why don't you take it off, man?
Well, Kevin Carr from 7M Pictures, he actually liked it. He said, "There's still plenty of true immaturity to go around." And like, yeah, you got to. I think what this film is, you have to go in knowing it's very immature.
Yeah,
like,
totally. You can't be going in expecting Raging Bull.
No, but even like insightful things on golf or like an insightful relationships or like insightful like
it's
golfing
just-
technique. Like, it's just Adam Sandler just fucking about for like an hour and a half.
Exactly.
I will say, good pacing. Good pacing.
Great pacing.
The length,
Yes,
the length of the movie, especially after the past couple of weeks, it was good pacing.
I agree totally. Time Out gave this a good review a good review as well, and said superior disposable comedy, and I totally agree. That is what sums it up. Disposable comedy.
Is this better than Click?
Yes. Yep.
Yes, it is.
Yep. But the only thing that this doesn't have is Christopher Walken. That's the only thing that it doesn't have.
Oh, God, he would have improved this movie so much, especially like mid-90s Christopher Walken.
But then the Click doesn't have Carl Weathers, but the Click also has David Hasselhoff in that wonderful scene
God.
with the
Oh my
farting,
God.
I taste shit.
Oh, I will give Adam Sandler, like, he does have some great quotes from his movies.
Yeah,
I will
yeah.
give him that. Malcolm McLaughlin from Palo Alto Weekly. He didn't like it. He said, "You probably already know if you think Adam Sandler is funny, so let that be your guide."
Exactly. Yeah. Totally.
100%.
Yeah.
If you like Adam Sandler, then yeah, even if you slightly dislike him, then this ain't gonna turn you around. You know what I mean?
Totally. James Rocky from Netflix
Netflix reviews. There you go.
Yeah, I don't know. Gave it a positive review. Says, sever those cerebral lobes. Sever those cerebral lobes. Sit back and enjoy a gleeful, energetically stupid comedy. Yeah, like that's it. You've just got to switch off, dude. Like you've just got to.
Yeah.
You can't be.
That's why I said do like literally anything else while you're watching this movie.
Yeah, and just be like, yeah, and you'll have a good time.
Yeah, this would be good if like you're like having a party and this is like a movie that's on in the background. Like,
Yeah,
you just have it
sure.
on,
Sure.
like for the sake of being on.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
100%. Roger Ebert, the Lord Almighty Roger Ebert from Chicago Sun-Times, didn't like it, Brenton, gave it a rotten review. Too right, I say. And he said, the Happy Gilmore character is strange. I guess we're supposed to like him?
Yeah, it's true. Like that's a good point. Like it's
Thank you, Roger.
it's a bizarre character that I still.
It really is. I don't know why. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. They should have made him more empathetic in that way. I don't know.
Lucas B gave it 5 stars and said, loved it. Very funny. Well, thanks, Lucas,
Thank
for
you.
your insightful comments.
He also wrote that in all caps, I should point out to the audience.
So I should have
He's very
said,
energetic.
loved it. Very funny.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's the Lucas B I know and love,
Yeah.
Mr. Brenton. Gavin S gave it 5 stars, and Gavin wrote, still a great family comedy. Good advertising and product placement by Subway. I bought a sub halfway through the movie.
Holy shit, Gavin. Come on, mate.
Could you imagine? I guess if you're hungry and you're watching this movie, like, maybe I do want a Subway. Like, at least we know the product placement worked.
Donovan K gave this film 4 stars and said, good luck in finding a more quotable sports comedy, or just another comedy in general. Timeless. I don't know if I go that far.
Excuse me,
I don't think,
no.
Like, Blades of Glory's got like the Iron Lotus and like, you know.
I think, I know, my favorite comedy of all time, one that I think is most quotable, is Tropic Thunder.
I think Holy Grail is the most quotable comedy of all time.
Yeah, actually, yeah, go for Monty Python.
Yeah.
But then again, if I had to choose if I had to watch Monty Python or Thunder, I would probably have a sweet spot for Thunder.
I love Tropic Thunder too. Like, it's so funny and it's very quotable. A lot of Robert Downey Jr.'s lines in that movie are just like
Every line he says is iconic.
It's just gold. Like liquid comedy gold. It's so good.
It's so funny. Oh, I love
Like-
it.
like
Also,
the
maybe
whole-
Zoolander, the original.
Yeah. Which leads us to the final person that we're passing the power to.
Jamie Lee, she wrote on YouTube, hard to believe that is Claire Dunphy.
Yeah, and this is the thing. Like, we didn't bring this up, but yeah, like the love interest in this film is Claire Dunphy.
By the way, I found this. I'm like, when I saw that comment, I'm like, holy shit, it is Claire from Modern Family. I'm like, oh my god, that's so funny. But also, like, she horribly fails the Bechdel test in this movie. Like, she has no character besides the fact of being
yeah,
Claire's
like
girlfriend.
I totally agree. And the way I just said it, the love interest in this movie is,
I know.
yeah, you know
And
what I mean.
She's there just for the sake of being the love interest. Like, it's sad because like she really doesn't have a character outside that, and that doesn't age well.
And she as well. Like, I think what's annoying is that like you have this total moron that she just kind of for some reason warms to, and like just like
Yeah.
even though she does like attempt to like be like, look, these are the rules and you have to abide by the bloody things, but like at the end of the day she still like ends up with the guy. And yeah, I don't know.
I found their date way too cheesy. I thought she had no agency. Like, I thought I felt uncomfortable when she was in her underwear holding the beer.
That was no.
I'm like, this is male gaze at its and not to be SJW or anything like that, but like, you know, you can do that well, but like, I don't know. I just didn't buy it.
Totally.
I didn't see any actual chemistry in their relationship.
Totally, yeah. But that is Happy Gilmore.
That's what a Happy Gilmore. Get it? Because he's so happy, Brenton.
So happy.
Yeah, I'm glad we've done. You know what? I do love that we finally did a comedy after so long.
I'm glad.
Like,
I'm glad we did an Adam Sandler film. Like, I think, because
I don't know if 47
but
episodes in, I'm happy we have Adam Sandler standing amongst shoulders with all the others.
for the sake of the show, I think it's worth doing. Like,
Actually, you know what? If we can have Emerald City in this roster, we can have bloody Adam Sandler.
Exactly. This film is better than Emerald City. Still, like honestly, like I don't know. I don't know what's gonna.
I love that
come
we
out.
did Emerald City so early as well, so we will always have that shit film to like compare the future shit films to.
Oh man, that movie, no way.
It's so bad. The more I think about it, the more I think like, how the hell did Nicole Kidman build a career after doing that movie? Like,
But it was like a hit here, right? It was like.
It's revered. I cannot iterate enough. Like, for some reason in Australia, when you talk to people about old movies, people love Emerald City.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh.
But I don't know. The time will tell how revered Happy Gilmore continues to be.
Yeah,
but
we get to episode 50. We'll do a look back.
But look, in the meantime, Nathan, do you want to go do a quick 18 rounds of putt putt and then finish it off with a nice foot-long sub?
I'd love to, mate. But can you please put the golf club down? Like, we're in my home. Like, can we at least go outdoors for it? No, like, Brenton, put down the golf club.
I'm getting violent urges.
Put it down. No, Brenton. Ow!